Good morning, Sylvia. Oh, I can't hear you. You need to get your sound off mute.
That better? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember to record it. Good.
It's an automated thing. I think it's just you switch it on and it comes on.
That's good.
How are you?
Good. Yeah, busy day yesterday, so catch up today.
Were you caught out in the rain showers yesterday, or did you manage to miss it? Was it just a northern thing yesterday?
It wasn't too bad. It was quite low clouds because I went up to Swindon and it's obviously a bit higher than here, but yeah, it was quite low cloud in some places, but not too much rain.
Okay. Well, I tanked it down here from 10 o'clock all day. So
you had your fair share. I think London had a lot, didn't they? Tower Bridge was flooded or something.
Yeah. How did you get on anyway? How was the site? What did you think?
I really like it. The water treatment plant doesn't actually belong to the site from what I can see. It's separate. So I think, because did you see on the video?
I haven't looked at the video, Sylvia, yet. I was tied up with some planning issues yesterday.
Oh dear. Yeah. So the water, yeah, the plot I think is really nice, and at least it's sort of an infill plot in a village rather than on the outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the water treatment plant, which is separate, doesn't actually belong to the plot.
Is it actually inside the plot, or is it next to the plot? Next to the plot. And do you know, is there any smells that come off the treatment plant, or do we know anything about it?
No, it looked like it was a natural one, because it was all reeds and like a pond with reeds. So yeah, it looked like a natural one.
Okay.
So yeah, it wasn't anything nasty at all.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think it's got a lot of potential. And
the village itself, what was the type of housing that was in there? Was it bungalows? Was it two-story? What era as well? Modern, old stock?
Older stock, quite big detached houses. Quite a few of them are having sort of extensions put on and adaptations to sort of make them bigger.
Yeah.
It's a very quaint, small village. I think the only facility is the pub.
Okay. And then the nearest village shop from there would be?
The nearest, probably a couple of miles.
Okay.
There's some massive new development site not too far away, probably a mile or so away, which is like Bovis Homes or one of the big builders. So that's encroaching out towards the village all the time, I think.
Okay. All right, well, good. Well, I think worth chatting with the agent then to sort of say, well, we've had a look at it physically, we've had a look at it economically.
Yeah.
For our business model, this is what could work, and it will be subject to identifying the risks that we need to overcome and the planning that needs to be dealt with as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm speaking to him Friday, so.
Okay. Cool. Okay, well, let's get on with what we were going to discuss. So what I wanted to sort of go through was the bungalow application, and as I say, we've heard from the planners, and we're in current talks at the moment. I'm going to say we're talking more than them. They're not really giving us any hints, but we're working through a few problems that they don't like, and hopefully we can overcome them. But let's go through what we what we had on that plan anyway, to go through floor plans in its overview, and then basically we want to sort of discuss the type of equipment that we're going to want to put in that facility. So let's have a look. How do I present? Present. Okay. So can you see that screen? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So this is what the architect had come up with. I suppose to sort of let you know what the planners were concerns were. They were concerned about the street scene, because a lot of the other houses are what I call boring 50s, 60s stone, and we've come up with this sort of contemporary design, which has this white render, this angled glazing at the front, and some wood paneling. And they haven't told us what they don't like, but they've just said street scene. So, so it's not very helpful. So we're trying to get them to open up a little bit to see what we can overcome, because we can change the render, we can put bricks, we can deal with that. The windows, I mean, it's, we like the design, we like its modern design, but not everyone does, and the planners have obviously got to be in the bonnet about something. But this is really, as I say, that the site that we're trying to get planning in for this bungalow here. So we've got a back garden here, and a driveway with gates here for 2 parking cars, and again a flat entrance all the way into. So this is the door here. We're coming around there. And it's a split level. It's sort of, we call it 1.5 story.
Yeah.
So upstairs we've got 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, and then downstairs, well, if I'm going to go through to the next slide. So downstairs, this is the layout. So here's the front door here. And we've got this office study area.
Yeah.
In terms of what we are proposing for this with elevated, that will become the main bedroom downstairs.
Yeah.
We've got a Jack and Jill wet room.
Yeah.
Shower room. And then we've got this wide hallway from the front door. The stairs then go to upstairs. And then we come through here to the back half of the area, where we've got this sort of galley kitchen with island.
What width doors are you putting in?
So these are 900 doors. Are they?
That's a good. No, that's a good size.
I mean, anything less than 900 is not going to work, is it, Sylvia?
No, that's a good.
And that's, and then obviously here we've got this open the doors that go on to what I call the decking area out back.
Yeah.
So we're keeping from this front door all the way through. There's a side entrance here, and the decking all at the same level. So that it makes it accessible for a wheelchair at all points. The utility room is a little bit small for accessible for what I call the wheelchair user. But as we were anticipating this as a holiday home with, let's say up to 6 people, then the wheelchair use them, you know, do they want to go to the utility room? Do they need to go to the utility room on a holiday? Or council can deal with it. So that's
Yeah.
really the concept of what we've come up with. And as I say, we've got off-street parking for 2 vehicles.
Is that 2 large vehicles or standard vehicles?
Well, it's probably 2 standard vehicles. You'll certainly get 1 large vehicle in there. You could probably get, if we're talking like a minivan.
Yeah, so we had quite a large van, so it was so one of the larger size. I don't know how long it was actually, but yeah, it was big enough for 2 wheelchairs. Our van was.
Okay.
As long as you can get one big van in.
Yeah, you will. Yeah. And then we're looking, as I say, at a hoist in this room. And then we've got the wet room facility. So, I mean, this
Are you
is
having
really
sliding doors or standard doors?
again. So this is really where I want to sort of pick up off your, you know, your background and skills to go, well, from visualizing this, what would you see that we to make improvements for this? When you say sliding doors, we could put pocket doors where they slide.
Yeah, I think it's more into the shower room.
This one here.
Yeah, from the bedroom, I think, because then you can actually have it wider, maybe a meter wide.
Okay, so you could put what, double doors in here, or would you say sliding doors be better?
At home we have a large sliding door, which is
Okay.
a meter. But I don't know that it necessarily needs to be a sliding door off the hall for the Jack and Jill part.
Yes. Okay. So we're talking about this one here, just
Yeah.
making that slightly wider by pulling this wall back, and having the door slide against this wall here.
Yes, because also then the person in the wheelchair is not having to maneuver around the open door, which can be a problem.
Okay. What about this door here? Would you do the same as a sliding door there?
Don't know if it's necessary. Not sure about that one.
Okay.
Because it's not necessarily in the way going into the bedroom, is it? The way it opens.
No. Okay.
We could get other people's opinions on that, actually. That would be useful.
Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to sort of do this as what I call the first iteration of what we've got here, and take it into the design so we can improve these things.
Yeah.
In terms of a hoist, let's assume that we put a bed up here.
Yeah.
Would you recommend that the hoist goes into the bathroom or not? Any views on that, Sylvia?
I don't know if it's necessary. I think the proportion of guests that would need it, because the other problem with doing that is if the shower room's not big enough to have a changing table in it, then I don't know then I don't see the benefit of it, because they would be going in and out of the shower room from a shower chair that they've already transferred to in the bedroom.
Okay, so that's really interesting in terms of then the actual shower room facilities. If we are looking at providing a changing table, does that need to actually be moved about in the shower room, or what sort of dimensions do we need? A lot more space, because at the moment we've got 2.4 meters here and 2.8 this way. what sort of
They,
size do we need for a larger changing table?
well, the changing table they're normally fixed to the wall and they can fold down, and they would be probably about 6 foot themselves, or 2 meters. So you'd need the clear wall space. I have seen somebody who's done it. They actually have a bath and they have a changing table that sits over the bath that folds down.
Okay, very clever.
But I think there are obviously less people that would need facilities with sort of like to be able to change in the shower room, because if we have the ceiling trap hoist in the bedroom, then people can be hoisted back onto their bed to get changed.
Yeah, so if we have the, as I say, have the bed here, you have a what I call a straight line hoist.
Yeah.
So then you've got a wheelchair facility where you can get in and out of your chair here onto the hoist and to the bed, and then you've got this direct access to the shower room and then out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in terms of other facilities in the bathroom, we've got standard stuff like, you know, grab rails, but is there anything specific equipment or I suppose tips or anything on the light switches, or, you know, anything that you can think of for that room?
Obviously the basin needs to be able to wheel under, and the mirror needs to be at a height the person in the wheelchair can see. Is this the only shower room, or is there going to be another bathroom upstairs?
There's another bathroom upstairs, so this is the only downstairs one.
Okay.
There's another bathroom upstairs.
So this, yeah, because I was going to say, if it was the only one, you might need an adjustable sink, so that it suits people that were standing as well. But that's not the case if it's not the only one. Yeah, so, and a lot of people have said that they might need to transfer from either side of the toilet if they're self-transferring. But then that would probably mean you need a very large room to be able to place the toilet in the middle.
Okay. I think the idea behind the shower here is to not have a shower screen.
Yeah.
Just leave it completely open, as I say, as a wet room, so that you've got as maximum space as possible.
You can actually have a shower curtain so that it doesn't spray. You can just pull out the shower curtain rather than have something fixed.
Now, in obviously restaurants and stuff, we have an alarm system, like a pull wire. For a holiday rental, needed, not needed?
Where would the alarm be connected to?
Well, well, the alarm would probably be connected to the next door, wouldn't it? It'd have to be somewhere else in the living room, I suppose.
I don't know if it's necessary. I suppose it would be nice, but I don't know if it is wholly necessary.
And are there alarms as well in the bedroom, typically, or not?
It's usually where people live that they would have these alarms that would be centralized somewhere, that sort of like an alarm company would access.
But for temporary holiday accommodation, when they come with other family members or with carers, then there's always someone likely to be around, no? Or
yeah. Yeah, it might be different if it was a single unit where you might have someone coming on their own. But I think, like you say, as a family unit, I don't know that it's necessary.
Okay. Anything else specific? Oh, so the beds. Obviously the types of beds. Again, we're looking for a holiday market on this, and we could be. It could be young, middle-aged, or old who has the the wheelchair user. What type of beds would you recommend we put into this environment? I know there's no 100% answer to that, but what would you think? Let's say if we're looking here for a family of up to 6, or it could be a family of 4 and a carer.
If it had been us coming with our young man, we would have needed equivalent of a hospital bed, so that it was high-low, it had sides, and the headrest would lift up. So it's and I think that the type of guest that needs a ceiling track hoist is likely to need a hospital bed.
Okay. And are those all those high-low, are they manual or electrically adjusted?
They're electric.
They're all electrically adjusted. So the setup can be altered for different people coming to use that.
They have a handset; they can do it themselves, or
They can do it themselves. Yeah, we do. It doesn't mean that we need to set the bed as per their requirements.
No.
Okay. And would you put one single one in there, or 2 singles, or join the 2 singles together sometimes? What's your views on?
I think 2 singles, but if there's the room to put them together, if it was a couple who wanted to be together, then it would be good if you could put them side by side. But also there will be times when the person with a disability actually needs somebody sleeping in the room anyway, so they might have a carer.
Okay.
So,
And then
I
Go on.
was going to say, if there's room to do different configurations of where the beds are, obviously the main accessible bed will be in one area, but if the second bed can be moved,
I think there is the flexibility, and I say it's quite a sizable room, so we could have, for example, a single bed here and a single bed here, or we could put them together maybe in this sort of configuration. We just have to be careful how that works with the hoist, so the hoist works for both configurations.
Yeah, because we obviously need the access at the side for the wheelchair.
In terms of, is there a minimum space that typically you use? Is it a meter? Or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned the side rails. Are the side rails clip on and off? Because if you're going to join 2 beds together, you don't want the side rails on the middle part, I would have thought, because otherwise you've got this divide in the middle of the bed.
They slide down. So
they slide down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's different types. A proper hospital bed, they will slide down. I think there's some more aesthetically pleasing beds that might not be as practical for the most disabled person, but
all right. Well, I think
it's
that's on to another subject, isn't it? In terms of we can talk about that, those types at a later date, I think. In terms of facilities in what we call the living area, obviously the space on the dining room table to get the wheelchair under.
Yeah.
is quite crucial. But other types of seating, views on the types of seating is, you know,
A lot of people have said that they would like a riser recliner chair in sort of like the lounge. That just might make it a bit challenging, because we wouldn't necessarily have a manual hoist in there for people that couldn't transfer, but people that can stand just to transfer, they've said they would benefit from a riser recliner chair.
Yeah, okay. And then kitchen facilities, anything specific in the kitchen? I know that people who, you know, have their own home, they have like a lower sink with access under, you know, so the wheelchair can go under the sink, and the hob is lower again with the same type of space underneath, so you can get a wheelchair underneath. Because we're looking at the holiday market, I think we've decided not to put those facilities in, because again, it's a family environment. You'll eat out a little bit more, or there'll be someone in the environment to cook with the whole group. You have any views on that? Is that the right thing to do or wrong thing in a holiday accommodation? And I know it's going to be subjective, but
yeah, I think that to have a fully accessible kitchen, then to meet the needs of somebody who's mobile, it is quite difficult. I think, like you say, if it's their own home, it would be fully adapted, and they'd have a high-low sink and a high-low worktop and a specialist oven. But yeah, like you say, the majority of people will have somebody with them that will do that for them. I know that I have spoken to future guests, and a few of them, the mum is in the wheelchair and she does everything. But I think that's obviously less so. And like you say, most people will come with a carer or a family member.
Yeah. I think the basics on what we were looking at on here was to have a low counter here, where we've got a kettle, toaster, maybe, and a low level oven as such. But the hob and the sink we were going to leave at normal height.
Yeah, well, you can. I don't know what the cost implication is, but there are units you can buy that have got an adjuster, so they can go up or down.
For what, sinks and hobs?
For the sinks and for the work surface, you could have one work surface that was adjustable.
Okay, yeah.
But we'd have to look at the pros and the cons, I think, of that.
Okay. Any other views or comments? I mean, you'll say this is probably the first time you've seen this design.
It is. The access onto the rear garden.
Yeah.
So what's that coming out onto?
So that area would be, I think we've got a tube. So what we've got is a decking area here.
All right.
And then the garden area does drop down here. We've got probably about half a metre then drop there. So this is why we wanted to keep the decking area level within the house. Otherwise, you'd end up having a drop to the decking and then another drop to the garden. So there will be a drop between these two. Okay. Yeah, but that's the current thoughts. And because obviously we're in a country that's hot tub crazy, I'm thinking of, well, we could put a half sunken in hot tub here with a hoist as well in this area. So that'd be great. They got the decking area and a hot tub in here, but we'll have to see how that goes. That's just a thought.
Yeah, and then so the threshold's going to be flush.
So this will be flush here, yes, and flush all the way around to the front door, around here and to the front. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go, equipment facility. So we just sort of, you know, that's what we've just been talking about. And yeah, I think that's really useful for certainly for me to go through those elements. What I mean, if we talk, you know, if we look at typical serviced accommodation, this is holiday accommodation, it's serviced accommodation, but with facilities for people with wheelchairs. The other people that get involved in the running of this is obviously the cleaners.
Yeah.
Is there anything specific that we need to change in terms of the environment for cleaners coming in to operate?
I think obviously the cleaners will need to have a much more critical eye, because there will be knocks and bumps from wheelchairs. It's unavoidable.
Yeah.
So we can look at sort of doorposts and things, whether or not that we can put some kind of protection on them. Maybe you can get plastic strips and things to maybe protect the most vulnerable areas, I think. But we will have to rely and prep the cleaners to make sure that obviously any scuffs or bumps need to be addressed.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? We're going to just have to, you know, I mean, ideally, I would like to go, well, actually, let's get rid of the door. Yeah. Fire regulations.
You have to have that as a fire door then.
Fire regulations say you can't. So that's the, you know, it's like you're trying to help out with one, but you can't. But yeah, that's noted on that point. And the other one, obviously, the cleaners typically do they do the, you know, the washing, bedding, towels, anything specific or additional that we think we need to supply as a host, or would we think that they would, you know, bring specific items themselves?
I think most people would bring specifics themselves. Obviously, people will bring their own sling. We may need to think about, I don't know if they have it in your area, sort of like a yellow bag collection for any sort of soiled sort of nappies and pads and things. I don't know what your council does on that. Do they have like a hazardous waste collection or anything?
I don't know. We can check on that.
Yeah, I know ours don't. Ours just say put them in the normal bins. But the other thing, I think, obviously cleaners are going to have to make sure it's 100% clean, and I think also things like any equipment is going to need to be thoroughly cleaned after every stay. If we provide sort of like a shower chair or anything, that's something that really does need particular attention, because they do deteriorate quite quickly, because obviously it's damp.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I think like any essay, I think it's attention to detail for the cleaning.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, most you've got to be at your top game on the cleaning, because you know, that's what people are coming there. They want to walk in a clean environment, and so yes, having a great cleaner on board, and I suppose a checklist for them to run through, is key. Okay, no, that's been really useful. Let me just get back on camera. I think that's been great to run through, as I say, the floor plans and the equipment that we're going to need to sort of put into this development.
Yeah, the other thing we were talking about the other day was around hiring in equipment if people had specific needs.
Yeah.
So I checked on the company we used, and they actually have nationwide coverage.
Okay.
So yeah, and I think we paid, because for one particular home in Devon, we hired in a manual hoist, and I think it was about £100 for the week.
If we've got a ceiling track hoist, would there be any requirement to need another hoist?
Potentially, but I don't know that we'd need to purchase one. I think it might be that somebody might want to hire one, and that's their choice then.
Okay.
Because that's the other thing for making sure with the cleaners, obviously, is that they make sure the hoist is charged. Because the ceiling hoists have to go into like a docking station. So it's going to be really important that every changeover that happens.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm guessing that they have like yearly, I don't know, they have yearly inspections, or is it just a typical maintenance? We just go and check it every.
No, I think
after.
it's six monthly. I think they are.
Okay.
And you can have a maintenance contract with the company.
Okay. No, well, look, Sylvia, I think that's. I mean, I'm just conscious of time. We had half an hour. We're just pushing out into the limits of everything else. But I think that's been really useful. And I think let's move on to speaking again in a couple of weeks' time about a different subject and everything else.
And it would be great if we can get people's feedback on what we said and their input. And if we're wrong, let us know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, we like a critical eye. We like to be wrong and people to tell us to be wrong so we can get it right next time.
Yeah, because obviously my views are as a carer, but I'd also like the views of people actually who use a wheelchair who would be using the facilities.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Okay. Well, I've got some notes here to make, and obviously we can post those out to let people know what we're putting in there. So that, again, hopefully we can get some feedback from what we've discussed. But
okay. All right.
No, that's been great.
Great
All
to
right.
chat.
And you.
Bye
Cheers.
then.
See you Saturday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.